Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Flow podcast. I'm Gwen, your host, and today we have an exciting and important topic for all English learners. Stop thinking, start talking. So many English learners struggle with overthinking before they speak. Instead of just talking, they worry about grammar, pronunciation, or whether they are saying things correctly. This stops them from improving and makes speaking English feel stressful. But today, I am going to help you change that. By the end of this episode, you'll have practical tips and exercises to help you stop hesitating and start speaking English with confidence. So stay with me until the end, and let's begin. Why do English learners overthink before speaking? Before we talk about the solutions, let's first understand the problem. Why do so many English learners overthink before speaking? What's stopping them from just talking naturally? One big reason is fear of making mistakes. Many learners think, what if I say something wrong? Or, what if people laugh at me? This fear makes them stay silent instead of trying to speak. But here's the truth. Even native speakers make mistakes all the time. They mispronounce words, forget grammar rules, and say sentences that don't always make sense. But they keep talking. They don't let mistakes stop them, and neither should you. Another reason learners overthink is because they try to translate from their native language. Instead of forming sentences naturally in English, they think in their own language first, then try to translate word by word. But this takes too much time. By the time they are ready to speak, the conversation has already moved on. Some learners also feel a lack of confidence. They think their accent isn't good enough, or they don't have a big vocabulary, so they stay quiet. But staying silent actually makes the problem worse. The less you speak, the more nervous you feel about speaking. It becomes a cycle of overthinking and avoiding English conversations. The solution: speak without thinking too much. Now that we understand the problem, let's talk about the solution. Why is speaking without thinking too much the key to fluency? The main reason is that fluency comes from practice, not perfection. The more you speak, the faster your brain gets at forming sentences naturally. If you always stop to think about grammar and vocabulary before you speak, you will never develop the speed and confidence you need. Think about how babies learn to talk. Do they study grammar first? No. They just listen, repeat, and keep talking. Even if they make mistakes, they don't stop. Over time, their speech improves naturally. Adults can learn the same way. Instead of waiting until your English is perfect, start speaking as much as possible, even if you make mistakes. That's how real fluency develops. Here's another important fact. Native speakers don't care about small mistakes. If you communicate clearly, they will understand you. Nobody is judging you as much as you think. Actually, the more relaxed and natural you are when speaking, the more confident you sound. And confidence makes people listen to you more than perfect grammar does. Practical tips to stop overthinking and start speaking. Now comes the most exciting part. Practical tips to help you stop overthinking and start speaking English confidently. 1. Think in English. One of the best ways to stop hesitating is to train your brain to think in English. If you always translate in your head before speaking, it slows you down. But if you start thinking in English, words will come out faster and more naturally. A simple way to practice this is to describe your daily activities in English. For example, when you're making coffee in the morning, say in your head, I am making coffee. The water is boiling. I am pouring it into my cup. By doing this, you make English a natural part of your daily thoughts. 2. Speak without worrying about grammar. Of course, grammar is important, but when you are having a conversation, communication is more important than correctness. Even if you make a mistake, people will still understand you. If you focus too much on grammar while speaking, you will pause a lot, and that makes you feel less confident. But if you just keep talking, your brain will naturally correct itself over time. 3. Practice speaking with yourself. Many learners say, "I don't have a partner to practice with." But guess what? You can talk to yourself. Stand in front of a mirror and have a conversation or describe what you see around you. This will help you get comfortable speaking out loud. 4. Use shadowing technique. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and immediately repeating what they say, copying their pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. This is one of the fastest ways to sound more natural in English. You don't even need a teacher for this. Just find a YouTube video, a podcast, or even a movie and repeat after the speaker. This helps you stop thinking too much and speak naturally. 5. Use simple sentences. Many learners hesitate because they try to make long, complicated sentences, but it's okay to use short, simple sentences. For example, instead of saying, "I would like to discuss an important matter with you," just say, "Let's talk about something important." Simple is always better. 6. Embrace mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is part of the learning process. If you're too scared to make mistakes, you won't speak at all, and that's the biggest mistake of all. 7. Immerse yourself in English every day. The more you listen to English, the easier it becomes to speak without thinking. So listen to English podcasts, watch movies, and surround yourself with the language as much as possible. 8. Set a speaking challenge. Challenge yourself to speak English for 5 minutes every day without stopping. Even if you don't know a word, just keep talking and find another way to express your idea. Mindset shifts to boost your confidence. Speaking English is not just about practice, it's also about mindset. Here are some important mindset shifts to help you become a confident speaker. 1. Confidence comes from action. You don't need to feel ready before you speak. You become confident after you start speaking. 2. Forget perfection. Focus on communication, not perfect grammar. 3. Mistakes are proof that you are learning. If you never make mistakes, it means you're not pushing yourself enough. 4. Compare yourself only to your past self. Don't worry if someone speaks better than you. Just focus on improving a little every day. 5. Embrace discomfort. Speaking a new language feels uncomfortable at first, but that's normal. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Final encouragement. Learning English is a journey, and sometimes it can feel frustrating. But remember, every time you speak, you are improving. Even if you make mistakes, even if you don't sound perfect, you are growing. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start speaking. The perfect moment is right now. If you keep waiting, you'll stay in the same place. But if you speak today, even just a little, you'll be further ahead tomorrow. You are capable. You are smart enough to learn English. You are strong enough to overcome challenges. You already have everything you need to succeed. The only thing left to do is start talking. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to practice the speaking challenge. We talked about and keep pushing yourself every day. Don't forget to subscribe to English Flow Podcast for more practical tips and motivation. Until next time, stop thinking, start talking. Bye, everyone.